trending matters akosom na watchwe be miensa enan enie no efa the CEO of Bills Microfinance metre Richard Nii Armah na warrior ehun sensem a woni ne ex-wife Joanna Quay enya ya betoto monten so ni ade no na chese across a whole lot of conversations in Ghana and on the net. Now over the weekend you say okopie mu wo delay show eso our interview no okoka say wonu ankasa okwa aware mu no woni sika dada woni bibia dada, but then prior to that interview no na ya tete wo monten so say the company formerly my a friend is saying quick creditor abeye Bills Microfinance no ne yere and the supporting no any ade and no so called delay show ni chemu say he had his money before or call our remu with Joanna Quay interview no ebe wie pe and ne ex-wife Joanna Quay the lawyers for de nsem bi ebeto embonten so on your screens nsem one. The lawyers edibay also to all media houses press release into a response allegations by Richard Nii Armah in an interview with Dolores Frimpong Manso aka Delay. Now the attention of the firm of Messrs. Dame and partners has been drawn to a media interview granted by Mr. Richard Nii Armah to a broadcaster Dolores Frimpong Manso, also known as Delay, on her show dubbed The Delay Show, featured on a number of television stations in Ghana and widely circulated on the World Wide Web. We hold the instructions of our client Joanna Quay to react as follows. Into omutrema womonietwa interviewer Richard Nii Armah wone delay enenam abefo mfini time eso. Now we note that the said interview was granted by Richard Nii Armah during the pendency of an appeal filed against the final orders of the High Court, Accra, dated 20th January 2026. In the interview, Mr. Quay made allegations which are all substantially untrue relating to certain matters in contention between the parties to proceedings actively pending before the Court of Appeal. The allegations also unfairly castigated the reputation and integrity of our client Joanna Quay. Into Muchema interview no eba bra Joanna Quay de asema koda in the appeals court wo train the final verdict be free court ho eba na Richard Nii Armah ekotena interview no so kwokeka ensem a wo hu ne se enye nokre na ensem ni bi won so awakoka egu Joanna Quay ehu efin. Whilst denying all the allegations made by Richard Nii Armah as untrue, we state that the fact of the marriage between the parties in 2010, soon after Richard Quay's return from a short stay in the United Kingdom in 2009, at a time that he was unemployed and had none of the properties he owns now, is a matter of public record. Record of proceedings of the High Court, Accra, dated 13th March 2024, and cannot be changed by a self-serving ex post facto interview with delay. Into Usha and someone a free mame Joanna Quay ni lawyers for neho eba omuchemu se entro na Richard Nii Armah wo kodi wo show ne esoesan se before obeware ne yere in 2010 no na watena United Kingdom ewo 2009 na oba ye no kra no na oni adwuma ejapade ne ade a owo ene na emu ba akokora ni ho a owo nso okotena delay show he said he had already made it no when bibia dada ansana wo kwakoware eno na a lawyer for HM say wo mukọ ensem ni kopie mu wo court on the 13th of March ne saa na ekoba ne say na oni ne ho hwe na wo mu ye den wo mu eware ye nti ontimi nkotena delay show no so nkosesa na no enkoka asem a Similarly, the record of the joint establishment of Quick Credit and Investment Microcredit Company Limited in 2011 by the couple after their marriage, with both Richard Nii Armah and Joanna Quay being the original stakeholders. Into Muchema, they're not yet to say a company no Bills Microfinance right now, formerly Quick Loan no womumie no na 2011 womo etna say and womo edition mu a yehuno endeno na womo edit to just see the subsequent to ansem so we put the next on the page on the screens not just say ni nyina no omo kan kosi say Richard Nii Armah St0rms entro no akotwa nti subsequent secret and illegal transfer of Joanna Quay's shares by Richard Nii Armah St0rms without the knowledge of our client, the use of quick credit to acquire properties and set up other companies are also matters of public record and documented in court proceedings. This cannot be altered by Richard Nii Armah St0rms through a media interview with delay. Into omu trema edru baby ni pono the shares of Joanna St0rms and Richard Nii Armah St0rms transfer ye ana Joanna St0rms enim ho hwe or the company no eko ye ndwuma bi ko bie companies bi ni nyina na ne shareholder ye ne yere ne ex-wife na onim ho hwe ni nyina ewo court proceedings a womo eko ewo eye court say Richard Nii Armah St0rms entimi nkotena interview so emfa word of mouth ensisa bibia sa keke. Now oba ase we note that Richard Nii Armah St0rms granted the interview to delay whilst the appellate proceedings in the Court of Appeal are active. We consider this as an effort to unfairly prejudice the minds of the public against our client and undermine and impede a fair administration of justice in the case. The appeal filed by Joanna St0rms was duly served on Richard Nii Armah St0rms about 2 weeks ago, with the record of appeal subsequently settled in accordance with the rules of court. Mr. St0rms' illicit motive to obstruct the cause of justice with the publication of prejudicial statements in the media is all through too glaring. Enti womu trema asem de omama ya te ase se wo Court of Appeal a womu de ho nkrata kra akwakoma Richard Nii Armah St0rms enti se oye sade a na chese oye ebu court no enimti a emfa kwan eso afa womu trema Richard Nii Armah St0rms entimi ntina se na wonkotena interview so embo nitrim enkoka ensem a enye nokre na onsesa Ghana fo adwene emfemfiri asem nokre na court a enunti no sabrekra de akwakodan Court of Appeal no eho we nyina che se adwenboni bi etaye chire sanse nka sabre ya asem no Court of Appeal no eni ho kwan empo se sebe Richard Nii Armah St0rms grant ho interview etna hokra eka ho asem empo da kopem se bia court ebedi asem no ewie. Now say our client Joanna St0rms will continue to maintain her silence and place her faith in the justice system of Ghana in the hope that she would get justice for the wrongs and abuse inflicted on her by Richard Nii Armah St0rms, as well as and equitable distribution of all properties acquired during the marriage between the parties as required under the laws of Ghana. In Zomu Trema, womo client ni de omo be ne se on de on kasa. Nemum gidie na o hwe se Ghana yen judiciary system no ebe fair to him na bone a Richard Nii Armah St0rms de na faso nyina no omotimi apata no de sefata no na japade a womo mienu bre ye no de ne chefa no ai wose ye de ma no emra no ebe ye adwuma ama ne nsa aka ne chefa pepepe said the etem. Also, we entreat the public to disregard the wild and unfounded claims of richness before marriage made by Richard Nii Armah St0rms, highlighted by his claim of alleged ownership of a VW Passat, as well as the attacks on the reputation of our client. As the mere publicity stunt, Joanna St0rms will surely get justice for the wrongs and abuses she had suffered one fine day. And international say womo trema Ghana fo nyina yembongu the ensemwa Richard Nii Armah St0rms ko kase no woni sika bi dada no wadi yie dada ansa na wokọ akọware no e na se no company bi e friend VW Passat no ni nyina enye no kre e na ensemwa wokeka edi gu Joanna St0rms hu fi no yentwa ni nyina embo no mo ogidie mapase emra no ebeye adwuma ama emrepemu no Joanna St0rms atentene ne ebe kasa ede amano enti na chese abusia ti say stories na emienu Richard Nii Armah St0rms echema na owoni sika dada ansa na okwa akọware lawyers for enso echiremu a Richard Nii Armah St0rms wo free eye abrochire UK eba Ghana 2009 edwuma kura na onibi talk of owning companies and properties enti no de omu editumu a enye yi. Now let's move on to a year and some for eso.